some hope to die.
By these 50 countries, differing so much in race and religion, in language and culture.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
Well, I know they're lying. They tricked me once, but they're not going to trick me twice. The time is now. Welcome back to the Professor Penn podcast. Your host, David Penn. Happy to be with you as always on this Tuesday night, the 5th of August. Good morning, Tanner.
Good morning.
Episode 226.
226.
226. We have an in-studio guest today. I'm very excited to welcome into the studio Mohamed Amin, who is an associate of mine through Republican Party politics. And I've invited Mohamed here to talk about the African immigrant community in Minnesota and in Minneapolis, to talk about the history of that community and how that community is faring here in Minnesota and what it means politically here in Minnesota. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Tanner.
Of course.
And to your audiences, Sodo, welcome.
Very glad that you're here. Mohamed and I have met several times. We've met and talked, but this is my first time I've really had a chance to learn about your history and where you're from. When did you come here? How did you get here? Could you share with me? Are you willing to share with me some of your personal story and history? And I'd like to know you.
I'm a gabber. I like talking, so a little bit about my background. Came in 95 from Africa, born and raised in Africa. I'm a Somali. That's just self-evident with a little bit of pizzazz. But I would say...
I like that. A Somali with a little bit of pizzazz. That's all right. We like that.
You know, and the thing is, when we came to America, we came with nothing, most of us. In the 90s, what happened is the country went to civil war, and the neighboring country in Kenya was where I grew up mostly. And what happened is George Bush won. People think it's Obama, but George Bush won, allowed refugee status. You have to understand, post-1965 in America with the LBJ immigration reform.
The LBJ?
LBJ immigration reform.
Oh, he signed that Immigration Act, which removed the quotas for immigration that had existed almost since the beginning of the country.
Exactly.
That was and he signed that in front of the Statue of Liberty in New York City.
That is correct.
I know about that.
Now, that is the reason why we are here. Because in 1990, when the Civil War began, and the Marines were sent to Somalia to make sure nobody starves on a biblical basis, and you also the Black Hawk Down.
Nobody starves on a biblical basis. But
Somalia was starving on
at that level, at a biblical level.
We're talking about 1 million people dying.
A famine.
3 years, not famine, man-induced famine. America, USAID was giving all the food. The warlords were weaponizing the food.
And is this at the end or the beginning? This is the Said Bar.
The end of the Siad Barre
regime.
Scientific regime.
The scientific socialism regime.
That's what he called it.
Okay. I know a little something about this. That's why I'm so glad for you to be here, because what I read in a book is some PhD's description. But what I'm going to hear from you, you were there, you grew up there.
I mean, my family grew up there. I grew up in Kenya. But the thing is, when the Civil War started, it started because of the guy became a dictator. He became clannish, and he was a socialist. And some people didn't like that. And they didn't like the fact that he was in charge of the country. Post-1977, 1978, America supported Somalia in the war against the communists in Ethiopia.
Oh, so this was part of the
Cold
War confrontation between the Russians, which we called the Soviet Union at the time,
and the Eastern Bloc.
And the idea was, because for those of the listeners and viewers who don't know it, this region of Africa is very strategic because it is on the waterway to the Suez Canal, correct?
Red Sea, Indian Ocean, 40% of world global trade passes through Somalia.
40%.
40%.
We would call this a choke point then, correct?
Why the Houthis exist.
On the other side of the waterway in Yemen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so this goes actually back, this conflict which you're referencing to, of this biblical famine and all of this disruption. Does this go back to the British and French colonial period, the disruption of these countries
I
in
am
Africa?
glad you brought that up because every tree has a
root.
plant and a root. The seed, you have to understand, prior to the British Empire, we had empires of Somalis. And I'll go through a few of them. We had the Ajuran Empire, which was clerical, theocratic, and it fell apart because it became too theocratic. And we had other empires come about, like the Majeerteen Empire with the Majeerteen tribes, Hobyo Empire with the Hawiye tribes, the Isaac Empire with the Isaac tribes. We had the Giledi Empire. We had the Imamites. We had a ton of small sultanates. You have to understand.
Sultanates. Small governances.
City-states.
City-states.
One of Mogadishu had one that started from the 10th century to the 13th century. Not only did they control Mogadishu, the Arabs in Southern Arabia were paying tribute to it.
Paying tribute to the Sultanate in Mogadishu.
In Mogadishu.
Oh, so what Muhammad is going through for Muhammad is the history of his region.
We talk about the Horn of Africa, the Kushites, the Somali.
And we sit here in America and we have a hard time remembering the Vietnam War.
Oh, no. Let me tell you how the name Somali came up.
Okay, please.
We call it Somal. Somal means go milk.
Go milk.
You go to northern Somalia, they say go milk the camel. Southern Somalia, they say go milk the cow. We are nomads, pastoralists.
You're nomadic, pastoralists, tribal culture, correct?
Culture.
Okay.
And you can go back. Some say it came from the Jews.
Some say what came from the Jews?
The name Somal.
Oh.
Because of Asmal, the left-hand side.
I got it.
And Herodotus, you're familiar with him. You Westerners are familiar with Herodotus because he was the historian.
Herodotus.
The Greek.
Yes.
He met the Ottomali in Egypt.
So this Somal,
Is
nomadic, tribal culture, how far does it go back? Does it go back to biblical times?
322 BCE, my friend. The first burial sites in East Africa, in the Horn of Africa.
300 years before Christ.
Not even 300 years before Christ, before even the Stone Age.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're talking about the first cave painting burial sites are in Somaliland.
Okay.
You can still go see them till today.
So what I would like everybody to focus on is the judgments that we hold against Africans here in our country. But in reality, this is a very ancient culture.
Very ancient. You can go to Egypt. King Hatshepsut put the people of Somalia, they used to call it Puntland, the ancient land of Puntland. That's what they called it.
Puntland, yes.
You'll find in the hieroglyphics in Giza, my people's information. He said, go there for trade. You will find gold, ivory, frankincense. We were doing business as warrior, traders, and empire builders with Romans. I'll tell you a joke.
Okay.
The Romans believed the spices they were buying from came from Somalia. We were buying it from India.
Ah, you were the middleman.
And the Arabs across the street, we were traders. We kept that secret for 500 years.
About what? About the pathway to
About
India.
the destination. Because the Romans would come to the port of Mogadishu and other ports, and they'd buy the spices from our markets, not knowing we're buying it from the Indians and selling it to them. And the Romans are like, where does it come from? We say from the farms in the interior. We can't take you there. It's too dangerous.
That's hilarious. That's really
For
funny.
500 years, my friend. So we've been doing business. We are known as warriors, traders, and empire builders. Those are the three things Somalis are known for. We have a code. People don't know about our code. Our code is Dersi. We are always like
Say
this.
that word again. What is
We
it?
have a code. Somalis are known to have a code.
And what is it called?
And the code is called a code of life.
Code of life. Okay.
We are, number one, Dersi, meaning that we're the people who open up our arms to charity, zakah, and give alms before even Islam.
Okay. So the number one thing is before Islam.
Before even Islam.
There
we used
was
to believe in a faith called, before, when we with the Egyptians, the moon, the sun god Ra. After the Egyptians, we had our own spiritual belief in trees and the environment and things of those sort. It was called the Waq. All Kushites used to believe that. Now, Kushites is an entire region. You can go from
Kush.
East Africa all the way to the borders of Egypt. You'll find Kushites. Even within modern day Egypt live Kushites. It's a big nation, but with the Somali section of it, we're cousins to the Arabs and cousins to the Jews. Semites. People don't know that.
Somalis are Semites.
Yeah, we're Semites. So when people say anti-Semitism, I'm like, dude, we get it. We're Semites. You know, we're Cushitic side of it. We're the Cushites, they're the Semites. We are cousins. And then if you look at things along the lines of when the British came in 1865, and prior to that, not only the British came, the French came, the Germans were the first to try. You have to understand, in Germany, Otto von Bismarck was the one, and King Leopold were the ones pushing for colonization of Africa because of disputes.
King Leopold
of Belgium
is a mass murderer who is not known for being the mass murderer that he is.
Well, he took Congo, and a third of the population died. Chopped off a third of the people's head.
1/3 of the population of the Congo died under the colonial rule of the Belgian King Leopold.
In Congo.
1/3.
That was his private property. His private property. Everywhere else was a colony. You have to understand they created corporations. East Africa British Corporation, Italian Corporation, German Business Corporation. Everyone had an outfit. It was a corporate entity. They used racial ideology. They used economic subjugation. The Europeans had guns. They had superior technology, and people who came in earlier, like Ken Livingstone, had mapped it out. Ken Livingstone went there to spread the gospel. But to get there, he had to get funded. And the people who gave him the funding told him, show us the landscape and tell us about the peoples. That's for the British version. So they came to Somalia. You have to understand, we are a warrior nation. Not one nation could take us by itself. And the land is bigger than Texas. So, it is almost twice as big as Texas.
With lots of natural resources?
Everything you can imagine in this planet. Uranium to gold to oil, fish in plenty.
So it's a very wealthy natural environment.
Everything we need is in Somalia.
So let me guess that the colonial powers to rule over the people there was already clannish divisions.
Divided and ruled.
And they divided it and armed both sides.
They came in through protectorates. Look, we want to do business. Here's a treaty. We'll pay you. Give us access. Set up a fort. Soldiers come. Destroy your protectorate and your kingdom. Put in a colonialism. Put in a colonial project. And then siphon off everything.
Yeah, I don't know that the people that are contemporaries of mine here understand the caustic effect of colonialism. Yet America is a colony of the British. And the very same processes they tried to put in place here in this country. And I think our current politics, the way I talk about it on this podcast, is we're still trying to throw off the machinations and manipulations of empire here in this country. That's how I think about it.
Well, the way I think about this country is we are an empire ourselves. In the past 80 years, post-World War II, the world was in ruins. Not the world, but the industrialized world was in ruins. The British, the French, the Europeans, a change was coming. They were losing their colonies. The empires fell apart. Between 1945 and 1965, a lot of nations got independence.
Including
Somalia. In 1960, we went democratic because the youths, it's always the youths of Africa and Asia and
the
Latin
youth,
America.
the students.
So the group called SYL, Somali Youth League, a group of youths, we started as a Somali Youth Club. The first thing they did was be secular. These were the clerks.
So when did Islam, when did the Islam become so prevalent in Somalia? Or is it prevalent in Somalia? Is Islam,
Yes.
that is the religion of the country now?
Well, demographically, we're looking at, according to the 2022 census and directed from the Ministry of Religion, they have a Ministry of Religion there. God, I don't understand why you need a minister to, religion belongs to God, but they do things like that in countries where we come from, Ministry of Religion. And 99% of the people population is Muslim. Not only are they Muslim, they're 99% Sunni,
Sunni Muslim.
one sect of Islam. Now, within that, it's not monolithic. Some are Sufi, some are Tariqa, some are Wahhabi, some are Salafi. The Wahhabi and the Salafi have grown in the last 30 years. And the reason why they grew is because the
So,
Sufi orders maintained Somalia from the 7th century until the British came. Then they were broken up. The Sufi Brotherhood is about live and let live Islam. That's traditional old school Islam.
traditional old school Islam, because for the people that are
For the
listening,
Somali people.
what let me just, we're going to bounce around a little bit, but I'm going to try to carry this thread through from the introduction of Islam, which about what year was Islam introduced into Somalia?
7th century.
Right at the beginning.
The first pilgrims who left, when Muslim Islam was just a handful of followers and they were being killed in Mecca by the Qurayshi tribes who were pagans. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his Muslims escape.
So right at
escaped
the
to
beginning of Islam,
Yeah.
that's when Somalia adopted Islam as
We have a mosque still standing from the 7th
century.
and
Incredible.
functioning till today
Incredible.
in Somalia.
So what I see, one of the there's many reasons why I wanted to have you as a guest today, and thank you for coming on. But here in Minnesota, in the Republican Party, and in the citizens generally, there's not much understanding of this African history. Very little understanding, very little insight into the colonial machinations of the European powers, what they did in Africa, what they did to the United States. Because I'm going to take it a step, I'll just go back. Yes, we've been an empire for 80 years. But did the people really want an empire? Because a lot of the people that came here to this country didn't want an empire. They wanted economic freedom, religious freedom. They wanted a good life. They didn't want to be involved. That's why they come from Europe, is to escape empire. So empire kind of followed us here to the United States. And I think our current politics in the Republican Party is a group of people that are what they call America Firsters. They don't want to be involved in empire. And the traditional Republicans that are very proud of America's far-flung deployment of military and its economic and military power. These two groups are fighting for control of the Republican Party. But the through theme, why I wanted you to come on, and I want to have it out with you. There are people that are truly afraid of the Africans, and they view Islam in very negative terms. And I think that's something we need to talk about. We need to get it out on the table and understand what's going on in the African community here in Minnesota. What is the relationship of that community to our traditional Minnesota culture? What is the intent of the community? If you can speak to those things, wrap it into this conversation as we go forward. Because what I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for solidarity. I'm looking for people to be Americans. So that's a good question to ask. Is the Somali community, the African community, from your perspective, interested in becoming part of America?
That's an excellent question. The answer is we came running here. That answers half your question. We would not be coming here if it weren't worth it. If the interest of the person who came into America decided to set roots. I got 5 children here. My brother is a legislator. He's a Democrat. My sister is a professor in public health. She owns businesses in this city. My other brother is a mechanic for Delta Airline. We came with nothing. All of us have children. In fact, on the 15th, we're doing a very Minnesota thing. We're going to the lakes as a family.
You're going to go fishing.
We're going fishing and camping and instilling some knowledge. And, we do the traditional family values thing. Nephew, that's your niece. Learn each other. The African way. We're bringing our families together. We are God, family, and country people.
God, family, country.
And we love guns.
And you love guns.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do. We're warrior people.
You're warrior people.
We're warrior people. We gotta keep arms at all times. Our women carry guns. In fact, our women.
Your women carry
an AK-47. A man needs a Browning 50mm to be called a man, man. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Oh yeah.
An RPG-02.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're not a man.
In other words, if you're going to go to a gunfight, bring an RPG.
Pretty much.
Okay, I got it. That's great.
We are warrior and we are traders. I'm a businessman. My father was a businessman. My grandfather was a businessman. My great-grandfather was a businessman. I can go generations, up to 27 generations, and tell you where they were doing business with, from West Africa to Central Africa to Middle East to Europe. 27 generations to India.
So you're saying, if I understand this correctly, the colonial period ended between 45 and 65. In 1960, Somalia gained its independence from Great Britain.
It was actually an Italian protectorate given by the UN in 1945 to 1960 as a protectorate by the
Italians.
You see, the Italians were beaten during World War II by the British. They were routed. And then the split came about. What peace was given to Ethiopia, a piece of it was given to Kenya.
Why did they give it to the Italians after they lost that war?
Divide and rule.
Because they had fought a war with the Ethiopians, the Italians.
British were wonderful in planting seeds for future divide and rule.
Because am I right? Didn't the Italians fight a war in Ethiopia in the 1930s?
1936 to 1945. Somali supported the Ethiopians because when a foreigner comes in the midst of Africans unite.
And that was a great way to maintain that division, was to put that colonial power Italy in charge of Somalia,
sure that
almost like a penalty.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it.
Now what happened is 1945, a group formed, 1950s, called Somali Youth League.
SYL.
SYL. And the SYL went secular. These were the clerks, the educated class. And the first thing they did is they refused to tell people their tribes.
Were they Marxists?
No. They were secular Democrats.
Secular Democrats.
So good were they were given an option. What do you want to become? An Islamic emirate, a communist nation, a socialist nation, or a democratic capitalist nation? They chose capitalism. And they chose democracy. In fact, so good were they that when they held power, it is the first African country in the world that democratically transitioned from one head of state to the next.
And what year was this?
Transfer of powers in the 60s to 69.
And then how did this Said Barre get involved in the whole thing?
69, he does a coup. And he does a coup because a window opened. The prime minister got shot by his own cousin, his own bodyguard. And in the confusion, a general trained in the France Academy, a socialist.
Where was he trained?
In the France Academy, military academy.
France
Military Academy in the Soviet Union.
Oh, he was trained in the Soviet Union. Okay.
He comes with his Leninist Marxist ideas, takes over the country. He does a coup. And he was popular until 1976 when he went to war with Ethiopia. And at that time, he was Eastern Bloc talking like the way most of these African dictators want to be are talking. The West is the enemy. America is the enemy. No, we're traders. We don't care who you are. We just want to do business with you.
Sounds like Donald Trump.
No, that's who we are as a people. We're not east west. We just want trade, business, and some form of peace.
Was Barr aligned with, let's say, like a Gamal Abdel Nasser?
No, Gamal Abdel Nasser was a thing of his own. He was Arab nationalist, but he also slept with the Eastern Bloc and the Soviet Union.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Was Somalia stand alone at that time, or was it involved?
It was along those lines.
Along the lines of the Soviet Union's bloc of countries.
I mean, the man was populist.
Okay.
And he figured out that basically the need was there. Colonization had stripped the communities bare, and he went nationalize everything. And that's the main issue that most of us had a problem with. He nationalized
your business. Took your money. Made you poor.
There you go.
Okay. So then what happened was a civil war broke out because people came to oppose this nationalization, this communist plan that was going on in Somalia. Do I understand correctly?
That is part of it. It's a bigger picture.
Is there a religious part to it also?
There's also part of that too.
Okay.
And I'll explain it to you. In 1976, 77, 78, there was a war with Ethiopia. Now, Ethiopia was a Dergu, Mengistu Haile Mariam, communist, red-dyed, wool-dyed, Leninist, Marxist, communist. I mean, he was Stalinistic.
Ethiopia
was, with the Derg party. Mengistu Haile Mariam ran it. And
this is after Haile Selassie.
This is after he killed Haile Selassie and buried him in the bathroom. Killed the king of kings in Ethiopia. Destroyed a 1,000-year empire with communism. Killed the African in them.
And this was backed by the Soviet?
This was not only backed by the Soviet, the Russians paid for it, informed it, set up the process, and killed Haile Selassie. This is the hidden secret. The KGB did that.
Okay.
The files came out.
That's the first time I heard that.
The files came out. Go look it up. I don't know if they're going to bury it again, but the files came out.
Okay.
During the perestroika when the opening came up.
So where was Somalia then? Why did
you have to understand, communism does not come from Africa. It had to come from somewhere. And that was during the Cold War. Who was sponsoring communism in Africa and Latin America and the Middle East and Europe and Asia?
Well, that's a whole other podcast. Because
I know, but what I'm trying to tell you is, after that, we were in the Eastern Bloc as Somalia. And Somalis have decided, you know what, this guy is becoming Stalinistic. And when they were terrorizing the Somali population in Western Ogaden. And the people there was already a rebellion, Western Somali Revolutionary Front. And these people were actually fighting. And when the fighting got worse and the repression got worse, we Somalis do what we Somalis do. We form alliances and we go to war. And Siad Barre went into a war which was populist. Everyone could see it coming a mile away. But he was already in the Eastern Bloc. So basically he was fighting the anchor of the Russians.
He was fighting. Who was he fighting?
Ethiopia. The communist Ethiopia, not Ethiopia. We fought Ethiopians since the 7th century in one war or another over resources and land. But this was the communist version of it.
And so they were fighting the communists.
They were fighting the communists.
But he had problems within Somalia also.
The biggest problem was he was a client state of the communists.
Okay, so why?
So he broke off, went to American side.
And the United States started to fund him with billions of dollars.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Even though he was a dictator.
You have to understand, back in those days, the American foreign policy is we'll fight communists everywhere. I mean, you got to look at Vietnam, the domino thing, the philosophy. It's basically we fight everywhere but in America.
And what was the fight really over? The resources?
It's always about
and the
resources.
40% of the international trade that goes through the Suez Canal.
The multinational vote that comes with it in multinational bodies. There's a whole lot of goodies that comes along with the country aligning with you beyond trade and peace.
So how is it that Barre's regime fell? How did it fall?
Well, there was a coup at the end of the war. People blamed Barre. But you have to understand,
Who won that war between
Ethiopia won. The Cubans came in, 20,000 of them. I mean, Eastern Germany came in. The Yemeni, the communist came in. I mean, the Russian general was running the war for Ethiopia. And $1 billion airlifted, $1 billion, 1978. That's close to 40, 50 billion today in arms was delivered to Ethiopia. And we were getting what? A couple of 100 million. And General Miley undercover when it was just special forces training Somali forces. And the population-wise is 50-1.
So what shape was Somalia left in after that war?
Devastated. We lost a third of our forces. And guess what? The ones who were coming back tried to do a coup, and this guy started purging people. And the people who was purging formed military wings, whether it was SSDF, Somali Salvation Democratic Front, or the SNM, Somali National Patriotic Movement, or the SPM, the Ogaden State, and it went along tribal levels. And all of them wanted an end to this dictatorship. And it became even more repressive. And it was a client state for the West because, again, this is Siad Barre. He was a charismatic man. He was elegant. The man could speak. The man could lead. But his government was corrupt to the core and socialist. And socialism took a country that was going to be the Singapore of Africa into a begging bowl. The most popular song during that time was So Godolan Cruiser, So Barigale, So Barigale, So Godolan Cruiser. Go to the world and beg for maize while you build mansions and buy sports cars. That's how corrupt the government was.
So the leadership, the government was corrupt, took the money for itself. The people fell into poverty. These warrior
The clans
business
were fed up.
people
We wanted our businesses.
wanted your freedom.
We wanted our freedom. Some wanted democracy back, some form of democracy, not this cliquish socialist ideology, which took over the country.
And how did the Islamic religion play into
Well,
this?
opposition comes in many ways. There was a group called Al-Islamiyya Ittihad Organization, AI. Al-Ittihad came about in the 80s. Now, what happened is, Siad Barre, for all his fault, was a progressive leader. He put the first female pilots in Africa. Jet fighters, Somali women. Soldiers, Somali women. The women fought against, besides the men. They could do anything in Somalia. And some traditionalists didn't like that. They said, you're empowering women too much. We still live in a misogyny world.
So what you're saying is he actually
It
was
good for the
progressive in terms of liberating
women
the women in the society,
in the society.
and that brought it back a blowback from the Islamic traditional.
Islam does not mind women being liberated. What it minds is westernizing it.
We're going to bookmark that and come back to it. That's a very interesting.
The culture has to be Islamic. Nobody's saying they can't do anything they are not doing. It's just that we want the people, traditions is saying, why are women naked? Why are they wearing bikinis? Why are they on the beaches? Why are they in the nightclubs? Why are they drinking? Backlash with traditional Muslim society. We're not Westerners. We're
which had
Muslims.
been established since the beginning of Islam in the 700s.
Exactly.
So it's very deep root in the people.
It's in our DNA. Islam is in our DNA. You can't, even the one who drinks alcoholic Muslim Somali will still
He
tell
goes
you,
for morning
"Allahu
prayers.
Akbar."
He goes for morning prayers.
Exactly.
Snort the cocaine at night.
It's not the cocaine
Morning
at night,
prayer
and
in the morning.
He'll tell you Islam is the way. It's in our DNA.
I understand it.
You understand what I'm trying
Oh,
to tell
yes, for sure.
you? It's in our DNA. I carry it with me at all times. My beard is with me. The Sufi ways lives, even in America.
But you know, the Minnesotans are afraid of this. You know this, right? That people are afraid of
We'll get to
Islam.
that. We'll
I'm
get to
bringing it up again. I'm going to let you go. You get there anytime you want to.
Well, Al-Islami Al-Ittihad started, and the main reason why it started was because Siad Barre was, there was a couple of issues. Number one, the Arabic-trained Somalis were not getting jobs. They suspected them.
Say that one more
The
time.
Arabic-trained traditional Somali learning system
Okay, the
was isolated. They
traditional,
weren't getting the jobs. It's the Western-educated ones, especially the socialist Eastern
they got
Bloc
the
types.
jobs.
They got the jobs.
In the
They
more
got the
modernized,
They got
in a technocratic, modernized society,
Yeah.
those that were educated in the traditional Islamic system
Put
were
aside.
discriminated against, and the rewards went to those that were educated in the Western system.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the shift and the balance and the pull and pull came about because there's always an in crowd in society and an out crowd. They want the out crowd. So what do you think they will do?
They're
So-
going to fight to get back on the inside.
So they formed associations in the 80s. And Saad Barre, they started setting him up. And they say, this guy is no longer a Muslim. And he took offense at that. They said, I'm a Somali. I'm a Muslim. What you talking about? And then they said,
Because his
and they
form,
used the women as an issue. And they said, you're making the women more than they are supposed to be. And they said, but women can do anything. Now, they couldn't retort to that. But in the Quran, it says men and women are not equal. And it's true, biologically we're not equal. Mentally, physically, we're not equal. A man is a protector and a woman. This is traditional Islam. I'm not gonna dictate or argue about it. I'm a Muslim. I believe in that. But in opportunities, they're equal in everything. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet himself, was a worker and a husband to a 40-year-old woman when he was 25, running her caravans across the Arabian before he even became a prophet, working for a woman,
working for a woman.
Khadija alayhi salam.
So what you're saying,
You know what I mean? So Islam does not forbid that. But Saad Barre went further. He said, show me the verse in the Quran and I will change it. And that, nobody changes the Quran.
So that alienated him from the
Islam.
religious hierarchy.
Yeah.
And they formed
And
leagues,
he came on the streets and he killed them and he started jailing them.
lots of them.
I mean, he was killing them like he was going out of fashion.
This history I know. Even though his scientific socialism used one of the pillars of Islam, zakat, to justify socialism, when it came down to it, he repressed the religious hierarchy
All
in the
socialists
country.
care about is power.
All socialists care about is power.
There's nothing democratic
You've
about
seen it with your own eyes.
There's nothing democratic about them.
Now that's something we're going to come back. So we got two issues in the next hour we got to get to. We got to get back to this because we have this issue in Minneapolis
We'll get to that.
with Omar Fatah.
We will get to that. Now, what happened is, after that, they formed Al-Ittihad. They went a little bit. They say the people are not ready because people still supported Saad Barre. People didn't rise up like the way they expected. Now, you have to understand, militias were already fighting insurgencies, and these people went about doing da'wah. Basically, they propagated the ideology. Some of them propagated extremist versions of Islam. They went all the way militant.
Because of the repression,
Yeah.
that was their reaction,
They went extreme militant. And now Somalis are traditionally Sufis.
which is more tolerant.
We're tolerant of everything. We believe that a soul and their Lord is between a soul and their Lord.
Not judgmental.
Not very judgmental. We are judgmental. We judge sin.
Sin, you judge.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not,
But not
woke.
people.
let me put it that way. We will judge you, but we go slowly about it. But these ones who came about, they will beat you into the faith. Cajole you, chastise you, and what
They will
happened?
beat you into the faith.
They will beat you into the faith. This is the Gulf form of Islam
Wahhabist.
and Salaf.
And was the Saudis funding some of these
The
groups
Gulf
also?
was funding this left and right. And when Saad Barre went down, the institutions went down. And there were schools were shut down. And what do you think opened up in Somalia? With the
Chaos.
refugees.
Chaos. Because all the institutions
And these
fell
people,
apart.
these people, you see, Wahhabi, there's nothing wrong with it. Salafi, there's nothing wrong with it. It's the extreme version people have a problem with. That we will chop off your head or do what we want.
And then when the institutions fell apart
They found an opening.
and the country fell apart, right?
They set up educational institutions and the generation came about. They call Al-Shabaab and ISIS.
And then this is the time when, because there was so much violence and repression, this was under the George Bush administration time, coming back from the Johnson administration.
The sad part is Americans never read a history book to know what's coming next.
Well, I
We-
think I do, and that's what
no,
this
I'm talking about
podcast
our
is.
government.
Oh, our government. Yeah, well, our
They
government's
have no. The idea is yesterday and the next election cycle. That's as far as their minds go.
well, that's because they're so highly educated.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. Yes.
I've never met a more ignorant class of people than the ones who led this country in the last 30 years. They don't know history.
They're all graduates of our finest elite institutions: Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Columbia. That's where they get their education from other PhDs.
I mean, they alienated everybody
They alienated everybody.
from the Gulf to Latin America to Europe to Africa because they didn't open up a history book to understand what underlies these issues
Okay.
and how you go about dealing with these people.
Okay, so what underlies all these issues?
All these issues stems from colonialism, neo-colonialism.
Okay, let's stop right here for a second. For everybody that's listened to the previous 225 Professor Penn podcast, and I apologize to you that I didn't remember that Somalia was given as an Italian protectorate. I forgot that, and I apologize because that's a lack of my own historical knowledge. All of these histories, to understand where we are, we got to know how we got here. And how we got here was colonialism and neocolonialism, and we're still trying to heal from what the European colonial powers did to the Chinese, for example.
They call them the sick man of Europe, the sick man of Asia.
Sick man of Asia. Do you all know that the United States was part of the colonization of China?
Opium trade?
Do we know that some of our most famous families and richest families made their money, names you know, like Roosevelt, made their money selling drugs to the Chinese?
Opium trade.
Opium trade. Right. We don't know. And to Mohammed, who's talking about a history going back thousands and thousands of years, obviously you know your history of your people.
I'm a historian. I don't know history. I just dabble in it.
Well, for dabbling, it's dabbling a lot more than...
Yeah, he says dabbling, but he's just mentioning all these years straight off the dome. It's
But
impressive.
the point is, we don't have that in our school system. We don't even have that interest because our educated elites don't want us to know.
Those who don't know history will never know their future. Why should I teach you history if you're going to change the future of it?
Say that a little bit more. What do you mean by that?
Those who don't know history don't know their future. If you have no past, I'll create your future for you. So why should the Department of Miseducation? Why should the Department of Miseducation teach you about history when they want to shape your future?
They don't want you to know who you are. I say it all the time on the podcast. The point of this podcast, one of the core ideas is we have to know how we got here if we're going to know where we're going to go. And I'm so interested to keep going on this because now we're to your life. Now you're born. Now this is the period of your childhood in East Africa, correct?
Yeah, my father, and I have to say this as a disclaimer, when they nationalized our industries, we did what we always do, start an insurgency.
Okay. Well, they stole from you.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And he put our elders, my tribal elders, in jail. We're very tribal people, man. I'm not that tribal, but the tribe lives within me. It's in our DNA.
But you have to understand that when you
It's
say
our social security. It's how we walk the world.
when you say tribal, I'm from a tribe.
Ah,
So I understand what you mean. But I think most people don't understand a tribal mentality. Here in modern America in 2025, the loyalties and the family relations, they just don't understand it. It's part of making sure people are easy to shape their futures, to break them from all their relations. Americans are very atomized. See, one of the reasons I wanted you to come in here is what I'm hoping to find out, or what I'm going to encourage is that people discover the founding documents of America and they go, wow, that's freedom. We like that we can come together of all these different communities as Americans. And that's why I'm here. I want to find out if that's possible. you're going to say this is a good question. Can the East African community, can the African community actually become Americans? And I'm going to tell you a story because I'm from a tribe.
Which tribe?
Judah.
What branch? It's Somali. I know they're breaking branches. Ashkenazi, Sephardic.
Ashkenaz.
Ashkenazi,
Okay. So when my family came here, we also ran away. Nobody wanted to, had to. Stay, die. So everybody in my family stayed, died. Nobody survived. The only people that lived either came to the United States or went to Israel. And when I was...
Number one population, Israel, Jews in the world is Israel. Number two, America.
America, that's right. So my grandfather came to America. My grandmother came to America. Both sides' family came at the same time because it's impossible to stay in Europe at that time. Ran away, just like your family ran away from violence, from rapes, robberies, murders. The history, I know how my family died. I mean, my grandfather told me how his brothers and sisters were killed. Why he came, first he went to England, and then he came to Canada, then he lawfully came into the United States, because this is before Johnson. So it was not easy to come in here.
No,
they didn't want the Jews in the United States. So when I say they, I mean the political class. I mean the Republican Party did not want the Jews in the United States.
I can tell you who exactly didn't want it, because I read your history. There was a reverend out there. There was a Catholic guy who was on the radio.
Father Colin.
Who was leading it, the B'nai B'at organization. I mean, there was a whole lot of people. And
the guy who was the senator from Las Vegas, McCarran. Was a big...
Not only that, there were laws on the books.
Yes, that's correct.
There were laws in America that say, don't bring the Jews.
So...
But they had laws for the Catholics, and then they had laws.
They wanted to keep the Catholic out too.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So it's normal in America. We go through ups and downs
of immigration,
anti-immigration. This is very normal.
Well, that's very historical. I don't know that it's normal.
I mean, we're true to ourselves.
But I want to tell you, my family came here, and I was raised in the old way. And
when you say old way, what part of Europe?
Ukraine. Oh, yeah, I'm Ukrainian.
Kiev, Odessa mostly.
Yes. And so, the first language in my home was Yiddish. The second language was Russian. Third language, Hebrew. Fourth language, English. So this is how I grew up in a multilingual immigrant home. And my grandmother, when I was about 14, 15 years old, she sat me down. And she said, my son, you're in America now. You don't have to wear a kippah. You don't have to do the old ways. You're in America. Be an American. Assimilate. Don't be like your grandfather and me. Become an American.
Old world, new world.
And she pushed me to do it because she thought and this was in the 60s. And I listened to her, and because I loved her, because in a tribal culture, grandmother very important.
She's the glue.
She's the glue, exactly. She was the boss.
The one who cooks the food, for God's sakes.
That's exactly correct.
You don't eat unless you listen to grandma. Everybody knows that.
Very similar. When Mohamed came he brought food for us this morning because we never go to visit a guest. We never go as a guest without a gift.
Somali way lives even in America.
It's the Jewish way too.
It's the Jewish way too?
Because we're cousins.
Hey, man, I would have known that I'll ask for matzo balls, man.
When you invite me. Anyhow, she told me to assimilate, and I did. And I speak perfect English now, and my Hebrew is not so good anymore. My Yiddish is worse. I can still pray in Hebrew, and I do, but the need to assimilate at that time, of course, America was balling in 1960. I mean, it was the 60s and 70s was a wonderful time to grow up in America because America was large and in charge, and it was just a good feeling to be an American. Just good. It was good to feel like I had a great feeling to be part of the culture. Now, you left my family left, people dying, killing, murdered, butchered. Everyone leaves that can get out. So your family left. There was an insurgency. You said your father.
We grew up in Kenya. We were safe. We had money. We've always had money in my family.
Okay.
We were upper middle class. We've always been upper middle class.
Okay.
Plus also we are part of the tribal hierarchy.
Okay.
So alhamdulillah, I come from a good bloodline of men who put us in that position. And we were funding the insurgency in Somalia. My
Okay.
family spent close to, I did an accounting with my uncle who was our tribal chief, $5 to $8 million over 20, 30 years. Funding medicine, food, whatever the soldiers needed to go in the bushes and topple the socialists,
Okay.
for the SSDF party, which later on formed the Puntland state of Somalia. When Puntland was being formed, it was being done in my father and my uncle's houses and their friends.
That's a whole other thing. There's Somaliland and there's Somalia.
There's Somaliland, there's Puntland, there's Hirshabelle, there is southwestern state, there's Jubaland, there is Galmudug.
So
I mean,
Somalia,
there is now Khartoum state just formed last year, and there may be more coming, or maybe they will assimilate and contain. Somaliland, you have to understand, was British Somaliland. The British colonized it. The southern part was colonized by the Italians. No one nation or superpower could take us by itself. We are a warring nation. In fact, the longest running insurgency, second to the Vietnamese one, against the Chinese and other stuff, is Somalis. We've always been insurgents. We
so
never
the
accepted
British
colonization.
part of that region is now Somaliland.
Is Somaliland. And Somaliland became...
Is that a country? Is that a recognized
it was
country
a
now?
regional protectorate under the British.
But is it a recognized country right now? Is it a UN country?
They got recognized for independence on June 26, 1960. On June 1st, 1960, Southern Somalia became recognized. And on June 4th, and then what happened is immediately both combined to call themselves the Republic of Somalia.
Okay,
So Somaliland has existed for a brief period as an independent nation, maybe 3 days. And what happened is after the Civil War, the SNM, and they faced a genocide in the 80s. Let no one lie to you. They got killed by the Barre socialist regime by the tens of thousands.
This is in Somaliland.
Leveled Hargeisa. And these people wanted no part of this union. And they came, but it's a clan thing.
It's tribal.
It's tribal. And they say we want no part of it. We want independence. It's just that 30 years since 1991. And here's the beautiful part. They made it work. They've held 3 consecutive elections. They're democratic. They held on to those principles. They're secular.
Are they recognized now as a country?
No, they're still shopping around. Right now, just this week.
So they're still part of Somalia, but it's its own independent.
It's not recognized, but de facto they're independent.
They're independent.
They have their own police, military, marines.
A little bit
they
like
have
the
their own
Kurds.
parliament, upper house, bicameral, lower house, Gurti, and everything else. They have elections for their own president. In fact, he's coming to America under Somali passport maybe, or diplomatic passport to try get recognition. The Congress just this week passed a commission to investigate on the viability of it. America under Biden, the policy was simple. One united Somali, because they don't want to open up the can of worms of basically recognizing independent de facto nations drawn during colonial lines. And when that happens, you open up a can of worms in Africa.
All over Africa, everywhere.
Not only all over Africa, Middle East, Asia, Europe. These lands were basically somebody sat as a bureaucrat and drew a line on a map. In 1865, they did that in the Berlin Conference.
Even though there's a line on a map.
They cut through ethnicities, social tribes, communities, and empires.
On purpose, to create division.
Divide and rule. It's an old adage.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, Somaliland is a viable, functioning country.
It's a democracy.
Which is seeking recognition, but will not be recognized because you're saying it will open a can of worms all over the world about these tribal divisions, like the Kurds. The Kurds in the Middle East, they're another group that has a functioning government, but not a country.
But you have to understand, the Isaac clan is adamant. We're not going back. We faced genocide. Our cities were demolished. We've tried this union. We're not going back. And the southern Somalia is saying, we're not letting you go. The seed for future war is right there.
Between Somaliland and the southern Somalians.
It's coming. And now foreign powers are playing both sides. Because there's something.
And which side is the
in their
United States?
ground.
Where is the United States playing right
The
now?
United States? The United States right now is the honest broker.
Is the honest broker.
Under Trump, it's the honest broker. They're trying to figure out a way out of this. And I'm telling you, Trump admin is doing something amazing. They don't care what your policy is. They don't care what you're trying to do. They don't care what your leaders are. What they care about is peace, trade, and some form of partnership. So
No judgment. Make money. Right?
he's a transactionalist. That's why I voted and campaigned for him. Because these thinkers with their radical ideologies, oh, we're going to shape the world in our image, turn Kabul into Washington, D.C., and turn Baghdad into Oregon.
Ridiculous.
What did they get us?
Nothing.
They pissed away trillions of our dollars.
Because they
and they
didn't.
brought back our soldiers, and they don't
Broken.
even take care of our veterans. And they split the billions that came out of it.
Can I ask a question, just so I know?
Yeah.
Are you American citizen now?
I'm an American proudly. I'm an American first, make America great again kind of person.
So let's make this clear, because now we're going to pull the rabbit out of the hat. You're actually, if I'm correct, if I'm saying this, you're a supporter of Republican Party causes.
I'm a Trump guy. American, Republican, elephant singing, elephant flag carrying, American red, white, and blue.
Now,
freedom,
there's going to
liberties,
be
and rights.
people listening.
I mean,
I
I'm
can
talking-
just, now, Mohammed, I can just see it. The people are going to be coming to me, and here's what they're going to say.
Huh.
Don't believe them. Don't trust them.
Let me give you a little bit of background. When the jihadists came to ISIS and started recruiting in Minnesota, what did I do? What did you do? Tell them. You sat on social media and said, them Somalis. They're joining the jihadists. I went to bat against them. I created an organization I ran for 11 years. I shut it down, called Average Mohammed. You know why I used the name Average Mohammed? Because I wanted a Mohammed, a Somali, to be the anti-jihadi. I went from here to Timbuktu to Tel Aviv. And I spoke up against the jihadi movements.
Risk your life.
I get death threats every day.
Well, you got your RPG with you.
Oh, in America, they don't allow us. But I got a Smith & Wesson. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is this. We went to bat. So good are we? I'm the 2020 citizen diplomat by the United States State Department because I am as good as they are in terms of defeating mine. I reached over 500 million people over 11 years. I've been on 60 Minutes CBS talking down jihadis.
So let me ask you a question.
I've been on the front page of Star Tribune more times than I can count. I've been on Washington Post, New York Times, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and everything else, talking down jihadis. And then people started complaining and they said, what about the white supremacists? So I hooked up with former neo-Nazis, the NSM Nazi leader, and we started making messages and started countering the neo-Nazis. And the Klansmen come up to me and they say, what about the Klans? And I say, I hooked up with former Klansmen and we went after the Klansmen. And then the Semitic people come to me, the people from the tribe, and they say, Mohammed, we have a rising anti-Semitism. I said, I see it. And we started going after the anti-Semite. And the racist people, black people come to me and they say, Mohammed, you're fighting for everybody. What about us? And I went against the racists. Why do we do that? The American way of life.
Okay, so I want to just make sure everybody is understanding what I want to share what I'm understanding. You're a supporter of Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
You're a supporter of
Three-time voter.
Republican causes.
Yeah.
You're anti any kind of discrimination that you see wherever you see it, starting with terrorism, with extremism. Any kind of extremism you think is no good.
It has never solved any problem. That's a saying from Maya Angelou, a woman who I shared the same award with. Global Ties USA, citizen diplomat. Again, 2018, a national privilege. I share the same award as Maya Angelou, poet activist. That I'm very proud of, more than the State Department one.
You have an award that Maya Angelou had.
Ambassadors and senators have them. I'm one of them. But I'm just an average Mohammed. I don't claim to be anybody but a nobody. I will never run for anything. And I don't care for much. All I care about is peace, trade, and some form of partnership. That's it. That has been my premise. Bring people together. If you look at the Torah, the Tanakh, if you look at the Bible, if you look at the Quran, there's one fundamental teaching. Love one another.
Then well, first of all, let me just say that in all of these books, there's lots of things people pick at, but what matters is how people live their life. So what you're living your life is to create a unity. Tell me, what is going on in the Somalian community here in Minnesota? Help my listeners and viewers understand your perception of this East African community here in Minnesota. What's going on with it?
Well, we've come of age. We've come of age, and unfortunately, that age is they're going back to. Some are taking us back to socialism.
Is that in their DNA also?
No, we're business traders. We are warriors. We are poets. We are everything but socialist, man.
So then
we're capitalists.
Why are they doing this? Because this is
harkens
back
money.
The money.
Money and control. You have to understand, Somalis make up only 5% voting bloc in Minnesota. You can't win elections with 5%. Who is the other 95% is the question people don't want to answer. But black Muslim immigrant makes a good scapegoat. We found that messy in America. We didn't create it here in America. Ask the African Americans, they'll tell you. Ask the Hispanics, they'll tell you. Ask the Asians, they'll tell you. Ask the Jews, they'll tell you. Ask the Catholics, they'll tell you. Nobody gets it easy in this country. The Native American, don't even ask them. You know it.
You're bringing up a very provocative.
It's not a provocative, it's the fact.
No. It's provocative because, there's a thing in the New Testament. Don't point out the cinder in someone else's eye when you got a log in your own eye. Work on your own problem. And here in Minnesota, and this is another big part of the podcast, we have a prevailing culture here in Minnesota. What you're saying is blame it on the Somalis, replaces blame it on the Jews, blame it on this group, but it's the prevailing, you're saying it's the 95%. They need to look at themselves. Do I understand correctly what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, for example, Omar Fatah is running.
Okay.
He's running openly as a socialist. Mamdani is running in New York openly as a socialist.
Okay.
We've seen that. Talk to the Hmong. They live next to Cambodia. Tell them what happened. Ask them, the old timers. What did they see with the socialism there? Talk to the East Germans who came running when that wall went down into America. Ask them, what was socialism
But the
like?
Hmongs are all aligned with the Democrat Party here in Minnesota.
Again.
Because of what reason?
Money.
Money.
You have to understand money. Democrats spend money. Socialists spend money. George Soros spends money. The Republicans, they stay in the community. We have BPOUs out here called basic political organizing units within every particular party. The Democrats organize, and they organize with money. The Republican ones forgot the word organizing. They are not in the communities. Republicans don't even ask Somalis for voters.
I am. That's why you're here.
I know, but Republican Party traditionally does not even ask black people for voters.
That's why we have.
They don't ask Hispanic voters until Trump came along and changed the dynamics.
Now we can change the dynamics.
They ask, but they would send consultants, take a picture with you and say we did our outreach. But when you talk about asking people for voters, it's to know the difference between a samosa and a sambusa, a tamale and a pupusa. These folks here in the country clubs and the BPOU and the organizations, I don't think they have a clue. And they don't want to know.
Well, I know that they're afraid of the East African community.
That's the thing, fear, because they've been defined, again, by who? By the Democrats. Now, last election, we campaigned as Republican people of color for Trump. Let me tell you what the result was. 2-1. Imagine they voted for Trump over Kamala Harris. The Somali community did in Minnesota. Star Tribune wrote about it. And Star Tribune endorsed Kamala Harris. Why would they write about it? Because the facts were clear. I can show you the voting records.
So you're saying if you're a Republican Party officer and you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to let Mohamed say this one more time in his own inimitable style, because we got a lot. This podcast is really consumed by a lot of Republican Party activists. They come here. Some of them like to come here just to hate me. Okay, they just like to watch it to hate me.
Oh,
and some of them are here because we have a movement in the party to change the party, to make it a party that's more responsive to the citizens, or as they say on the Democrat side, a party of the people. That's what we want. And what happened to the Somali community in this last? I want to hear it one more time.
I will. You can go to rpoc.org. R as in Robert, P people, O of color, Republican People of Color.org, and you'll find the articles there, and you'll find our thinking there. What I'm trying to tell you is, in the last election, due to our efforts, we got $0 from the Republican Party, $0 from the Republican donors. The only people who helped us was a few brave House representatives in the House of Minnesota and as senators here by the Cameron House, Mark Curran, Walter Hudson, and a few others who came out, who helped us, who basically organized us. And we organized ourselves as a Somali community. 7 days before the election, we endorsed it. Not only did I reach the Somali community here, not only were we canvassing and campaigning on our own dime, because we actually believe in this guy called Trump, because we saw him as an agent of chaos to the order. He was the monkey wrench we sent to them. Because we didn't like the way the country was going. We didn't like our education system. We didn't like the indoctrination. Woke ideology scares us as people of faith. We have nothing against them, but we wanted a way out.
Say this is very important to me personally. Woke ideology scares people of faith.
We voted for a guy who travel banned us the first administration, and we knew he was going to travel ban us the second time. 2-1.
Because
the other side scared us.
The issue of faith.
Faith is in our DNA.
That's number one.
Look, man, it is simple. For us, it's Dalka, country. My country is America. Deen, religion. My religion is Islam. Dakhan, culture. Trader warriors, capitalists. Nakala, economic means. That's it, man.
Self-governance.
That's our code.
Self-governance.
We don't need government.
Self-governance, make your own money.
Make your own money.
Defend yourself.
Defend yourself.
Relationship between man and God.
Yeah. And country.
Country has to be there.
Rally to that flag, red, white, and blue now. That's our country now.
Because
we are Americans first.
Because that government is supposed to defend those values. And actually, the history of this country in our Constitution, the things you just said, economic freedom, self-governance, self-preservation, self-protection, self-defense, those are all things guaranteed to us in our Constitution. No wonder you like America.
Oh, no, 1776, that was the most radical thing they ever did on this planet. Before then, it was either live under a king, live under a theocrat, live under a system. But until then, sovereignty came to we the people. That's why that document, they've tried to change it for 250 years. And this other side nearly succeeded in the last administration. They're censored free speech. The first thing we got as a right was free speech. Right after they used their guns to kick out a king who told them to shut up.
I would like to just, Tanner,
yeah,
you got lots of clips here, young man.
Yeah.
You got a lot of material, because what we want to do is, what I want to do, why I had you in. See, now, of course, we didn't talk beforehand, so I didn't know what you were going to say. But I had a suspicion that, because I know something about East Africa and I know something about the way people think about East Africans, what has to change is the people that are repressing the East Africans need to look at, it's 2-1 for Trump. They're allies.
most voted for protest vote because of Gaza, but at the end of the day, we beat Kamala Harris, who spent close to $50 million in this state.
Where is the Somalian community relative to the Israel-Gaza issue? How is that perceived?
Oh, that's simple. Somalis are for free Palestine. But the thing is, I am for free Palestine, but without anti-Semitism, man. Keep that out of the way, man. Hate has never solved the problem. And how, when we talk about free Palestine, I wrote a chapter about this, about the city of Jerusalem in my new book called Dissidents in America. And the reason why I wrote 3,000 years of history of just the city Jerusalem was because this issue is not that simple. It runs through the fault line of three major religions of half the population of this planet: Christian, Muslims, and Jews. And if you look at Zionism, it means going back home. That's what Zionism means. And if you look at the word Nakba, it means losing a home. Bottom line, the Jew and the Arab are saying the same thing: home. And we're saying peace. I'm the peace side of America. We say peace, salam, shalom.
Assalamu alaikum.
Find it. Talk.
Make it.
But killing each other is not the solution. And more importantly, it's tearing us up here in America. And we don't want that mess here. We're tired of it, man. We're just sick and tired of it. Every cycle, you guys start killing each other. We are at each other's throats out here, choosing which side we're going to be on. We refuse to do that no more, some of us. And we say to the Jews and we say to the Palestinians, and I'm working with Israeli peace activists and Palestinian peace activists. Today, as I'm speaking to you, I'm setting them up to talk peace.
Oh, you bring them here.
No, they're in Israel.
Oh, they're in Israel. Okay.
I'm organizing them. And I've been working with them for the last 10 years. I train them in the words of peace. And we tell them, here's a formula, here's a curriculum, here's a process. Let me teach you. Let me train you. Good luck.
So this Somali community is 2-1 for Trump, wants a two-state solution to this problem in Israel without the anti-Semitism. It's not focused on the Jews. It's a political issue, but very complicated because it is the intersection of three religions' aspirations. So you recognize the complexity of the issue.
I mean, the Holy Sepulchre is there, a block far away from the Western Wall, and on top of the Western Wall is Al-Aqsa. It doesn't get any simpler than that.
That's great.
That's three major religions who each says that's our city. Historically, from the Crusades to the Ottoman, you can go back. King David, 1000 CE. Solomon, before that. Come on, man. This is an issue that is deep, deep, deep. We need the elites, the powerful, and the people who can do something about it to fix it. We, the people, are exhausting ourselves in passions and hate.
With the hatred.
The hate. Because of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia comes about. Just like that. So when you're anti-Semitic, the Jew this, the Jew that, guess what? You just lit the fire for anti-Islam. And because anti-Islam comes and anti-Semitism is happening, the Christians come to defend the Jews. And that has been historical. Because Islam is the other. Judeo-Christian values align more than Islamic values. So guess what? Anti-Christianity comes about. And all the others come out. The racism, the anti-LGBTQI. I mean, hate becomes known.
So then the point becomes then the relationship between the
Toxic.
Jews and the Christians cause an alliance between the Islamic and the communist.
And what happens is the seeds for wars is already planted. The wars are coming.
And you're asking the elites to solve this.
They have to be the elites because we common people are doing the dying. I don't care what you think.
How do we...
Kifir Biba was kidnapped on October 7th. A child, less than 2 years old, man. And then guess what? They killed him. And then the body, they paraded him before they handed it back to his family. And how many kids today are dying named Mohammed in Gaza today, right now? At some point, your mind will say, enough, man.
But we can't depend on the elites because they're the ones profiting and set the thing up for their own benefit with all this conflict. Do you see the elites moving to solve this? Trump might. Trump is trying to.
He is the agent of chaos. We send him there. Throw the monkey wrench into him because the uniparty system of the Democrats and Republicans profit off of this process. They profit off of wars. It's a vampire economic model with them. Our flesh and blood across the planet feeds them. In profits. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Doesn't he sound a little bit like the Professor Penn podcast?
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking that exact thing actually.
See, we're not all alone.
No.
We find our allies wherever we can find them.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to walk away from that model.
And create a new well-being model for the health and well-being.
That's what Trump is trying to do. Now, why do you think they're fighting him tooth and nail? Because he changed the game.
He's trying to change the game.
Now it's very hard.
Lots of resistance.
It's addiction, man. It's like a heroin junkie. We're used to a war and a 50 billion going out every year, somehow, somewhere, for war means for the last 30 to 40 years. Have you been to war lately?
We never stop having a war.
Exactly. It's very hard because of the position we're in. And this, unfortunately, even though I'm the peace side, and Trump shouts peace through strength, I'm the peace side, I see the strength side because I see the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians and what they're doing. They also have their military-industrial complex. Even the Houthi have a military-industrial complex that can shop 40% of the shipping in the planet with missiles, hypersonic ones now. A tribal outfit can do that. What do you think the Chinese can do? So we need these people. We can't do without them. The military-industrial complex, we need them. We need them because Theodore Roosevelt taught us, carry a big stick. We want to have the biggest ballistic in the planet. But we need to learn how to talk silently, man. We don't talk silently. We're walking everything, man.
So what you're saying is we have to have the means to defend ourselves.
No doubt about it. I'm a tribal guy.
But we don't need to be going over to our neighbors and plundering their village.
Smash and grab.
Which is what the business model is.
Pretty much. That's what Trump is trying to change with tariffs, with reciprocal trade, with everything else.
He's a trader. He's a businessman.
He's a traitor to their class. We sent him there for that purpose. We didn't want him to go play nice with them. We sent him there to tear them down. And he's trying.
And they're fighting back.
Big time. Think about this. Cambodia, Thailand, last couple of weeks.
Had a war.
What happened?
I think the Chinese sent the Cambodians to attack the Thais.
Yeah, but what happened?
Trump stopped it.
How?
He promised them both a trade deal if they sat down and wanted to do business.
Normally would sell both side guns.
And you know what? He took Cambodia, which was going to be 36%. It was 49%. And they made a deal at 36, and when they sat down, both Thailand and Cambodia ended up 19. He actually followed through on his promise. If you guys stop fighting, we're going to do a deal. And he did the deal.
Israel, Iran, what happened? Israel, America says we can't have a nuclear weapon. Makes sense. You're going to point it at us.
And they sent their...
That's just common sense.
Right. Okay.
You don't have to be pro-Iranian or pro-Israel or pro-America. If you live in Minnesota, you don't want a nuclear weapon pointed at you. It's that simple, man. Statecraft.
Okay.
I am sympathy with the Iranian people. I don't like the Ayatollahs. Because ever since they came to power, they've been revolutionary. And they're exporting their nonsense.
Do you think that the people of Iran can remove the mullahs?
That's none of our business. Let them do them.
Do their own thing.
What we care about is peace, trade, and some form of partnership. What you do with yourselves, none of our business.
You know, Trump went into Saudi Arabia.
We're not bombing Arabs. We got $3.2 trillion from the Arabs. We're not spending trillions in war now.
No, but Trump went into Riyadh, and they had all the Islamic leaders there.
Yeah.
And he stood up and he said, I'm not here to tell you what to do.
No, it's not.
I just want to do business.
It's none of our business. That's where America went wrong. George Washington said America should be careful of foreign entanglements. When we start thinking that we can turn Tehran into Washington, D.C., we messed up. Tehran is Tehran. And D.C. is D.C. We are Americans. Minnesota is Minnesota. We're nothing like us. The greatest state in America is Minnesota. And I'll argue with you on that one. and I'll beat you with it. Logic of it. The best state in America and the greatest country and the freest country in the world is America, because a Somali man can come in 30 years later and speak American. Ronald Reagan taught us that. He said you can't be a Frenchman, you can't be an Iranian, you can't be a Russian, but you can call yourself an American.
That's what my grandmother told me to do.
And that's what your grandmother told you, and that's what I'm teaching my children.
So tell me about, in the few minutes we have left, because it's such a big subject, I would like to invite you back again. What about this Omar Fattah thing?
Let's play the video.
Let's play the video.
They may have what seems like unlimited money. They may have a bunch of glossy mailers that would be sent out, but they don't have the people. And that was really evident at the convention. The mayor failed to get even a third of the delegation. Our city is done with the broken promises, done with politics as usual. And so we built a really broad coalition of working class people, teachers, transit riders, young folks, immigrants, and just longtime DFLers also that are just fed up with the system. Throughout this campaign, Mayor Fry has been calling our ideas extreme or too radical, but a lot of the ideas that were deemed extreme or too radical, I've gotten done at the state level. All these progressive ideas that I've been known for to get passed, I've passed with Republican support also. So these have been bipartisan bills. So if we're able to get Republicans on board, then I think that it's a shame that we have a city that's all Democratic, that has a mayor that has been blocking that kind of progress.
Let me break down that video for you.
Okay.
He just told you his recipe.
All right.
Organizing. Without money, he's doing it. Same way we're doing it as a Republican people of color.
But the Republican Party
is building a coalition. Are we building a coalition on the Republican side? You're busy pushing us to the side. Without us, you can't win Minnesota, period. Let me repeat that. Without people of color voting Republican at margins which Trump is bringing to the party, and even we're going to exceed it, if we collaborate and coordinate ourselves, you can win Minnesota. And I'll give you a fact here. Go to the Secretary of State, check the voter rolls, check who brought you within a 5-point margin of taking this state. Break down racial identities.
Okay.
And you will learn something.
Well, what are we going to...
We turned 84%. There's 87 counties in Minnesota. We turned 84 counties red out of Minnesota. 4 counties remained blue. Ramsey, Anoka, Hennepin, Dakota County. And just with those 4 counties, the Democrats took control of the state. The governor is theirs. We have a divided government in a bicameral house. We took over the House, but the Senate is tied.
Well, I'm going to tell you that this is a big theme of what I'm doing. That's why I'm working with Royce White. I want to work in that urban community and organize that community. Let me ask you a question.
That's why we established Republican people of color. We got tired of waiting for the GOP. We're going to the RNC.
Do you think Omar Fattah is going to win this election?
Don't care. That's a Democrat issue. Jacob Frey, Omar Frey. Bottom line, one is far left, the other is socialist. You have to understand, Minneapolis has transformed. The Democrats are in a minority. It's progressive, socialist, and some outright communist now.
If Omar Fattah was to win, would that help Republican Party politics in the city if we organized?
Well, Minneapolis is a blue city. Republicans, you want me to be honest?
I want you to tell me what's going on there.
Republicans don't stand a chance based on the fact that we're not organizing.
But if we organized in the city?
It needs 3 things.
Go ahead.
Volunteers.
Okay, volunteers.
If you can't volunteer, we got the ideas. The people are there. And the third thing that is missing is money.
Volunteers, ideas, and money.
Yeah, the ideas we have. And more importantly, the Republicans we're putting up are carpetbaggers. Let me give you an example. Can you play the video for Ilhan, please?
A lot of conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but of fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote-unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. And so if fear was the driving force of policies to keep America safe, Americans safe inside of this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Identity politics.
Okay.
That's all they got.
Divide the people.
Divide and rule. You Somali, white people hate you. They call you jihadists. No, they're not calling us jihadists. They're calling the radical elements within our community jihadists. And there's a statistical fact to it.
And you actually risked your life to work against those radical
Exactly.
elements.
They're not calling our Somali community jihadists. Of course, there are bigots and racists on the other side who like to paint the entire community as jihadists or as foreigners. And now the current trending topic is deport them all. We Americans, we ain't going nowhere, man. We like it here.
I like having you here. It's nice to
We
meet
like
you.
it here, man. And come and get us. You know what I mean? We're telling you point blank, because at the end of the day, we are nomads and pastoralists. We'll keep it moving. If Trump wants us deported, which he doesn't want, because he likes us voting for him. Republicans like us voting for them too.
If they'd wake up here in this state, the hierarchy of this state party is ignoring, from what I'm hearing you say, 2-1 in this community voted for Trump, yet the party itself gave no money other than a few elected officials who you named.
And a few MAGA activists. It is MAGA coming to us. Regular establishment Republicans?
No way.
They put us at 10 feet. They want to take pictures with us. But our issues is never on the table. And because our issues are not on the table, we look at them and the people we are representing are not stupid. They know that. Democrats live they're practically in the living room, getting free reign.
To just finish the podcast as a prelude to welcoming you back if you'll come, what are the issues of the community? What are the most important issues?
Number one, we want to opt out of this woke ideology.
You want to opt out of the woke ideology. You don't want your schools. You don't want your children.
We want school choice.
You want school choice.
We want to run our own schools, bring it back to local community. We want our taxes to be used by us, the money to come back locally to the state of Minnesota at the county level. We want to open up our own schools. Not only us, the African American, the Hispanic American, and the Native American, and the Asian Americans. All of us are a coalition. My Republican people of color is a coalition across the board. I'm not here as a Somali. I'm here as an American.
Okay, so number one is the education.
We got to take back the education, because these people were educated here. Ilhan Omar Fatah, educated. They think socialism and communism is cool. Something went wrong with these people, man, and the education system. And guess what? Even if you blame the Somali community, bringing them out to get them elected, we make up only 5% of the electorate. Who's the other 95% voting for them? They came through the same educational system.
Okay, so you want to change...
Those are white liberal women, college-educated white men, some minorities, but more importantly...
This guy is like the Professor Penn podcast central, because another one of our themes is our elite universities and our educational system sucks. It needs to be changed. And what your theory is...
We just want to opt out. We don't want to change it.
You don't want to change it. You just
you can keep your system. We just want to keep ours. We want a divorce here now.
You keep yours. We
want a divorce.
Okay.
We want school choice. You know who's stopping school choice? Tim Walz. So we need a new governor in Minnesota. Randy Quayle is running. Parrish is running. Kendrick is running. So is a bunch of good people running. You know, Scott is running again. Scott Jensen is running again. Let the marbles sort themselves out. Our issues we want to put on the table is school choice.
What's number two? Is there
number two is we're done with the handout programs. They don't help our community.
We don't want
handouts. We want a hand up.
Okay. So number one.
We want more business. We want more access to resources. Less than 7% of the money floating in this state belongs to people of color. We are at the bottom of the index
You don't want
of housing.
You don't
We are
want,
at the bottom of index in healthcare. And you know why? Not because we're not trying with handout programs. They failed. They have failed.
You're looking at the result. Didn't work. Could have been a good idea. Failed. Time for something
Let me
different.
explain a concept of why we are Republicans. We are big minds, small hearts. They are big hearts, small minds.
Okay. I like that.
Let me explain that to you again. They are big hearts. They want to do everything for everybody, provide everything for everybody. Because there's a need. You have to be blind not to see it. There's a need. Housing issues, healthcare issues, disparities, galore in America. We found these problems here. We didn't create it as Somalis, but people of color didn't create it, and the white folks didn't create it. It just happened to be the way we found.
Natural.
We inherited it. Now we can either fix it or maintain it.
And it's not working.
So, with these big-hearted Democrats, socialists, progressives, and communists, they say, we'll do it all. The government, the state will do it all.
Failure. Failure.
Ronald Reagan taught us the most dangerous thing in the English word is what? You know the quote.
I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. That's right.
We've seen the government help.
Doesn't work.
We're poorer.
You don't want a handout. You want a hand up.
We are poorer. Period.
Okay. So you want to do your own education.
We want to do our own education. We want to educate our kids because the AI revolution is coming, and we want to teach science, technology, engineering, math. Keep that woke stuff out of the way.
You want to take a business approach to elevating the community.
We want to get the contracts. We want corporate America not to talk about it, but be about it. We want not distribution of wealth. We want to earn it. We want to earn your business. But you got to open up the doors. And not through handout programs. We want a hand up.
One more issue. The third issue. Is there a third one?
The third issue is crime.
Boy, this guy sounds Republican to the bone. To the bone.
It affects our livability issue. You defunded the police, you progressive, socialists, and Democrats. Not the Democrats. I love Democrats. They are common sense people. The progressive socialist and the communist wing, the Omar Fatah, the Ilhan Omar, and the Mamdani people, they're all about socialism. It's about state centralized control, more government.
A way to make money for a small group of people.
Pretty much.
Right?
Look, man, play the Mamdani video.
My platform is that every single person should have housing. And I think faced with these two options, the system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused. Right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that people try and play like gotcha games about these kinds of things. And it's like, look, I care more about whether somebody has a home.
What a heart.
Big heart.
Big heart.
Small mind.
We have a saying. Did you hear this one? If you're not a liberal when you're young, you don't have a heart. But if you're not a conservative when you're older, you don't have a brain. Same idea. Same idea you're sharing.
Now, we're small-hearted people. We say, yes, the hedge funds are buying up all the houses. And the Chinese is even spending $14 billion buying houses. They are basically kicking out the millennials from the housing market, and they can't start families. We know that. Anybody knows that who looks at the housing market. They're edging out, buying out, and they're turning it into rentals. Mortgage is half the price of our rent now in America. Minimum wage in America, anywhere. I don't care what state you live in. If you work 40 hours, you can't afford a 2-bedroom apartment anywhere in America. There's a problem. And this problem, if you look at it, is people of color who are at the bottom, fill up the indexes. And not only people of color, working class white people. We're all in the same boat. It ain't about color no more.
So it's schooling. Education is the fundamental pillar to change this.
Yes.
No more handouts. Doesn't work.
No, we need some handouts for
the
very young and the very old. In between then, we say what Ronald Reagan said. The best social program is a what?
Go ahead.
A job.
There you go. Fantastic.
Go get a job.
And the final thing,
Pull yourself by your flip-flops or your boots or whatever you're wearing, even if you're barefoot.
work.
Do something, man.
Work. And the final one is the housing issue,
The housing issue. Let's talk about the housing issue.
which is
If-
crime,
if-
related
if-
to crime.
If I give you a public housing, basically what this brother is saying is he's a big heart. He's saying we're going to build projects and we're going to start selling them or housing people. Nothing bad with it. But we people of color live in projects. We call them ghettos. The Hispanics call them barrios. The Asians call them Chinatowns.
The Jews call them shtetls.
Steros. White folks call them trailer parks. You know what I'm saying? That's the vision he wants for us. No more suburban. Some of us can escape it. No more. Everything will be ghettoized. We don't want projects across America. We've seen that. We want to be like the Jeffersons, moving on up. You know what I mean?
There's 4 issues we go. We got schooling, number 1.
Think about housing. You spend a family with young kids, 18 to 10 years, because that kid got to turn 18 before they get off the system and they kicked out.
Yes.
That amount of money can be used to buy somebody a house as a down payment. Basically, repurpose the money. And guess what? A homeowner,
Has a stake in the game.
and they become taxpayers, not tax dependent. All they got to do is maintain their rent. So what do you think they will do?
Work.
Instead of handout.
They're going to work.
And then what do you think they're going to do about the neighborhood?
They're going to want it to be as safe and as clean as possible
Because they're going to live there committed for how many years?
for the rest of their lives.
And you know what? Who is the best person who is an ally of the police department when there's riffraffs outside their neighborhood?
A homeowner.
Thank you. Back the blue.
Okay. Now, Mohamed, I got to wind it up here because it's time to stop today, but I want to invite you back because your full-throated endorsement of Republican values, I want everybody in the party that's watching this to get this under your belt. Watch the podcast 2 times. Look at these allies that we have that, quite frankly, we're shitting on. And that's got to stop.
We need access. We need network. Invite us. I'm good for the talk. Am I not, Tyler?
You're fantastic.
I've been having a great time listening to you, man.
Yeah,
You know
he's
what I
great.
mean?
We need volunteers, ideas, and money.
We need
Pouring
volunteers,
into the-
ideas, money.
pouring in-
Either pitch in or
Or lose. Just keep losing.
Or get out of the way, man.
We
That's
gotta-
it. That's all we gotta tell
Okay,
you. Come
Alex.
along, go get out of the way.
Somebody get this to Alex Plekish. Let's get organized in CD5 and CD4. We got the people. I bet you've got the volunteers. You got the ideas. You need more volunteers and money, and let's get into the city and make something happen. Is that what we're working on here?
Not only this city, nationally. We're going to New York. Socialist is running. Come on, man. Patriots must come out.
Mohammed, it's
We are
great.
capitalists, man.
It's
We are warrior, traders, capitalists. We want peace, some form of trade, and partnership. We are peace through strength. I'm the peace side. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum salam. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you. Very nice to meet you. It's great. You're welcome back here. I'm going to invite you back soon. All history next time. Just want to talk African history. So I'm going to study before you come back so I'm a better partner in the conversation. Tanner, thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Of course.
It's great. Everyone, thank you. We'll see you again, God willing, on Thursday night. God bless you. Thank you very much, sir.
God bless the USA.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.